Welcome to our next step video, a video formatted resource to help you take your next step towards spiritual growth. This video is for our life group leaders on the topic of how to redirect a dominator. So let's dig in. The first question we have to address is, what is a dominator? A dominator is someone that dominates the discussion. They often talk way too much. They steal the attention, sometimes advertently and other times inadvertently. A dominator will often begin to discuss, but then begin to teach based on their experiences and opinions. And their role is not to teach because they are a part of the group. They are not the facilitator or the group leader. Life groups or a small group format is not about teaching, it's about group discussion. If you want to do a teaching-based group, you need to have the expectation that this is a discipleship teaching-based group, or go to an actual service where you're being taught something. However, in a regular formatted life group or small group facility, discussion is what is most encouraged. Dialogue. When you have one person that steals all the attention, they are the dominator. However, dominance can be revealed in many ways. I have 6 here. Let's walk through all 6. First, dominance can be revealed by silence and disengagement. Now, you might not think that that would be a form of dominance, but it can be, especially if that person is a leader or an influencer. If they're sitting to the side, not saying a word, not involved, not engaged, others will follow in suit. Number 2, dominance can be presented when someone attempts to find fault in others. Number 3, in someone that is aggressive with others. Number 4, someone that wants to be the center of attention. Number 5, someone whose influence on others is negative. And lastly, number 6, someone who is plain old negative. Not just to the group, but to you, to the discussion, to themselves. Just a negative demeanor, just blah, 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 blah. So, how do we redirect a dominator? Here are a few ways that you can redirect someone who is dominating the discussion. 1, the first thing you can do is to expect it and accept it. There are 4 general types of personality types, although there are 22 or 20 some possible combination for personality types. There are 4 general ones that everyone that studies psychology will attest to. Those that are on the top tier, both the cholerics and the sanguines, are aggressive personality types. Their temperament are very aggressive. These are generally the people that will try to dominate the discussion, either because they have a purpose to dominate, or they just want the attention to dominate. You have to come to the understanding and expect and accept that these people exist and they will possibly be in your group. Now, if you are a wise leader, you will actually look at your roster, or if you're in your 5th week, you're going to know who's going to be there this week, and you're going to have a pretty good idea who the dominators may or may not be. So the first thing you can do is expect it and accept it. This will help you to deal with it in the next couple steps. The next thing you can do is seek out someone else. So as the dominator is having their good old time, seek someone else's opinion. Ask for someone else's thoughts. What do you think? What does someone else think? What do you think about that? So you can redirect it by directing the attention to someone else. Number 3 is be encouraging, but I always encourage that we are time sensitive and let's move forward. I'll even say, that's well put. Good points. I like that. Let's move forward. And then we go on to the next question or the next point or the next thing. Another thing you can do is to let them go if everyone else is content. If everyone else is listening and everyone else is happy and they're just having a good old time, and under your free market concept of life group or small groups, if their dominance is beneficial to your group, let them go. Another thing you can do is ask re-engaging questions that move the discussion forward. You can ask it to the group or ask it to that specific person. But what happens is the Dominator will discuss without actually moving forward. And in a small group environment, you want things to progress, move forward, to get to the end. So ask re-engaging questions that move the group forward. Next is ask new questions that redirect the focus. It's less about re-engaging, but just asking a completely different question. So that's, just understand there's a difference there between re-engaging and asking a completely different question. So let's go on to the next item here, is simply interrupt them. Interrupt them and press on towards the main topic. Sometimes you might have to say, okay, let's move forward. Thank you for your time. There are many ways to go about that. Sometimes there are situations where you have to blatantly interrupt and then move forward. Hopefully that is not a tool or tactic that you'll have to use too often, but it is available. Next, hold a dialogue between you and the Dominator. Use that as a resource or tool for your group, especially if no one else wants to be engaged or if no one else is engaged. You could just have a discussion between the Dominator and yourself. It's not the best way, but it's something rather than nothing. Next, whenever you're dealing with someone that's more negative, you as the leader, be the positive one. Take the higher road. Be the positive light. We give you 1,000,000 scripture verses and yada yada, but ultimately, God has called you to be the light in the darkness, and if your group begins to turn negative, you are responsible as the leader to be the light. Let's go on to the next one. Do not react negatively when you are being provoked, because your reaction will communicate a lot. And remember that your group meeting has a purpose, it has a focus, and we don't want to redirect the purpose and the focus to how you're reacting. Instead, focus on moving forward by not becoming negative like the other. Move on to the next. Maintain your leadership role by staying calm and confident. Calm and confident. I am a big fan of this word confidence. Confidence, confidence. If you hear me in other leadership schmeals, I will talk about confidence, confidence, confidence. Your brain is a funny organism, or organ. I'm not sure if I used the right words there, but your brain is funny because the way it thinks and the way it operates, it controls how your body responds and reacts. And if you think confidence, you will be confident. So as a leader, remain calm, remain confident, and maintain your leadership role no matter what is happening. Next, say affirmative things to yourself in order to keep yourself under self-control, because in some situation when dominance is very negative, you will need to motivate yourself to be the light, to motivate yourself to be good, to motivate yourself to bite your tongue. So motivate yourself, be affirmative to yourself, encourage yourself. I can do it. I can handle this. I can deal with this joker. So let's move on. Negative dominance should always be met with a warning. The rule of thumb is when they go public, be public. But if they're going to go private, be private. As in, if they're going to disrespect the leadership, the church policies, or the group in a public format, you as the leader have the responsibility to correct and rebuke that in a group format, in public. But if they're going to be private about it, then deal with it in private. I'm not saying make a scene, cause a church split, or anything like that. I'm saying you are the leader in your group environment, and whenever someone's being negative, provoking, or whatever, they need to be corrected. They need to be warned that it's not acceptable behavior. And if you can do it prior to the meeting, warn them, fine. If you can do it after the meeting, warn them, fine. But negative approach and negative spirits and negative anything in your group needs to be met with heed and warning. You are the leader, and you should be encouraged to take care of that. Next, establish boundaries. For those that you expect to be negative, establish boundaries with them. Let them know. You have 1 minute, give your time to discuss, whatever. Even if you want to do it as a whole group, everyone, we're going to go around the table here. You have 10 seconds each. Or please stick to this. Please don't go here. Establish boundaries that keep things in order and so that you can move forward. Lastly, is give the individual something to focus on. I remember in one ministry format, I had a student who was a dominator, but not in a negative way. He just couldn't keep attention, so he was dominating the group environment, but inadvertently. So I gave him a job to do, and while he was doing that job, the meeting went on. So sometimes just giving them something to do will encourage your group to move forward. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Just take a little note there. All right. Have a good one.